less Jesus into it, because it's Allura, and it's more focused on the couple being together than particularly being fervent worshippers. But kind of those things which a lot of the Allurans find, and even in our own world, a lot of very happy and excited couples to become officially married don't always think about before they bind themselves legally, because as I think Allie would know, having grown up in Doshinarol, the Allurans take marriage, or what they refer to as binding, very seriously. Like, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Like, you want to just hang out and have sex with multiple people, kind of keep it really casual, that's perfectly fine. But if you are binding, if you are making a family, that is serious fucking business. So you folks, Tessa and Thrax have gone off. The one kind of down thing is that Thrax and Tessa cannot be contacted during this. They have to be alone, doing their own thing and kind of hashing these things out. So they are sequestered from the rest of you, at least for a couple of days. Won't be very long, though. Somek was very upset that he was not allowed to go. And Bosco just stowed away, because that's what Bosco does.
Yeah.
Bosco's going to be involved in that marriage. He should be at Brigada.
Yeah, he's going to be involved in that marriage. So you folks are, free to move about and discuss things as you see fit, as you are in your various shacks, manors, and boats. Is that you did find a book, a lantern, and an anvil that are in Fran's temple that you know how to get to.
Right. And Kiki's going to bring up on a regular basis, the people who have been hunting us. She knows that the book, anvil, and lantern are big deals, but, she's also like, yeah, and those, asshats who are hunting us, she's going to bring that up. And I'm sure every so often you just see Kiki wandering around the estate with the reference Nomicon that she got from Dr. Getting, just to see if there's if there are any like which finds other books. Like, she's gonna treat it like almost like a metal detector. She doesn't know. I don't think she knows its range yet, so you'll see her like
Kiki, make an intelligence check, please.
Okay. 19.
Okay. As you're kind of moving around, beeping like Tessa does, because that apparently is how you find things, it begins to lead you towards Phyllis's room.
Oh god. Phyllis and his books. Yes. Kiki will go that way.
Mm-hmm. And it's leading you into Phyllis's room. The door is shut, but it is not locked.
Kiki will knock.
There is no answer.
Oh, I need a t-shirt that says, "What would Kiki do?" Because I am a mad respecter of boundaries personally, but I think Kiki would... I think she'd use Mage Hand to open the door, and she wouldn't enter right away, but she'd peek in and see if she could see the book, like, obviously lying around.
Yeah.
If it's hidden, she won't fuck around with it.
As you walk in, though, you notice that, like, one of the books on his shelf is glowing faintly with a purplish light, which lets you know that is a Nomicon of some kind. Ooh.
She'll use Mage Hand to grab the book and bring it toward her. She still hasn't entered. Like, she's like peeking in. She feels somewhat guilty, but her curiosity is very strong.
To find Kiki is what is referred to as the Teanomicon. It is a list of teas and their various pairings. So it's sort of like not entomology, that would be wrong, but like the herbology of teas, how to grow them, and then how to make them perfectly, and what kind of foods they should be paired with.
And she opens it, and it actually is that. It's not like some fake cover or anything like that. She's like, she's a little bored with it. She uses the Mage Hands to put it back, and she just makes a little note in her notebook that it's there, and she uses the Mage Hand to close the door. I will say that Kiki would not do this to any of the party, but given that like wonkiness with Phyllis and like the evil problematic book thing, that's why she's just sort of, she feels almost like it's like a checkup a little bit, like is there anything shady going on? That's all.
Okay, right as you close the door, Kiki, you hear Phyllis kind of down the way, Miss Kiki, how are you? And he's kind of hobbling towards you.
Hi.
Is there something I can help you with?
Kiki will look him up and down, which I know he's not very tall, but
He's not much taller
Kiki's
than
actually
you.
taller. I was gonna say, like, who's taller, Kiki or Vallas?
He's in no. So you might be, or you're very close, but you might edge him out.
She's just like 5 and some change. So,
Yeah, so is
like...
he. So, but he's kind of old and shrunk a little bit.
Okay. She's like, hi. No. Then she'll be like, read any good books lately? She'll make like she's looking for
and he
something.
just begins going on about a how to put this, like, you know those old dimes, like those old grocery sort of light novels, I guess we would call them today. You know, The Farmhand and the Milkmaid.
Yeah.
There's a very like Victorian prim and proper version of that he's telling you about, that you're smart enough to know it's cleaned up smut, but it's smut.
And then an ankle was shown.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what he's been reading.
Kiki's bored to tears, but she just kind of nods politely at appropriate moments, and then she's like, okay, not for me, but thanks, bye-bye. Like, she makes like she was looking for to read, because, you know, it's not out of the realm of possibility she would read something. All right, but she is excited that the reference Nomicon works, but she's, you know, that was less than thrilling for her. Yeah, she'll probably see what the others are up to, and again, we'll just sort of be like looking for a focus for the group. Like, are we? Because we were trying to figure out how to find the other party members after we took care of the Shadow Monk and stuff. But then she doesn't feel so strongly like, you know, maybe we do need to deal with this, like the anvil and the lantern in the book. Maybe that is a higher priority.
Well,
so she's a little jumbled for that. So she'll find the others.
I don't really want to do too much active seeking out of you know, the rest of that party without Tessa here. Let's be honest, it's probably not going to go so well. But it might not be a bad idea to start getting some leads. I know we talked last week about being able to scry for them, and maybe being able to, like, track the energies of Valhita on this plane.
Oh, yes. Nikki got scry thing.
Yeah.
Ice
I did.
crystal scry thing. Yeah. Kiki nods like about that. But again, if people would rather deal with the other objects, she absolutely agrees with you, Allie. Like, no actions, but we also don't have enough information to go on either.
Right, and I mean, I do want to find out more about the things we found in the temple. But I mean, Tessa found out what she could from Fran, and I think beyond that, we probably just have to go to the library and do research.
Said with such disdain.
Kiki will also... Go ahead, Nikki.
Again, right?
Again, I don't know what it is.
All night.
We're just too in sync. There's like this like tone of disgust in Allie's voice, but like, you know, camera pans over to Nikki, who's like bouncing.
Books.
Not so much that Allie hates books, it's just that the idea of spending an entire day in the library to try and find information.
Library.
Kiki will also ask the two of them, since Tess and Threx are away, who should we tell in the estate about the 3 objects we found? Like, she's really tempted to tell Locke, because from like a security perspective, but she's like, she doesn't have a sense of like how transparent we are about these things. She would rather, her instinct is that probably fewer people knowing about them is better, but like Locke can't take into account people potentially going for things if she doesn't know that they're... Nikki's head of security, if she doesn't know that they're there. So she'll just ask Nikki and Allie what they think.
About... Sorry.
What
about my head of security?
So the 3 things, I know that Kiki's bopping back and forth in her mind between like the 3 objects we found from the 3 brothers in the temple and the people pursuing us. So I know she's a little scattered, but she was like, who in the estate should know about the 3 objects from the 3 brothers?
Gotcha.
Are we Is it like state secret? Is it like? But she's going to put out to, especially to Nikki, because Locke's her employee. Like, should she at least know about it from a security standpoint?
I would say Locke should probably know, and honestly, maybe Phyllis should know also.
It's one more thing for him to worry about.
Yeah, but like to a certain degree, that's kind of a like. He is very old, and his whole thing is like caring for old things, you know.
True.
Like the Omicons that he is in charge of, not necessarily in charge of, but like that are under the estate's care, if you will.
Yeah, and he does have some tricks up his sleeves. Okay.
Yeah.
Unless Alex is differently, Kiki's more than comfortable with
No,
Nikki's
that's fine.
judgment call. Okay, so we'll let them know just so that they realize that could be yet another target draw for people.
They both have a very similar reaction in a way, but a very different reaction. Locke has the same reaction, probably that Allie does with a lot of things. She's just like, magical fucking bullshit nonsense. God damns it. And is just sort of pissed, and then Nikki walks off to go like review security measures to fucking deal with this now. Phyllis panics for a moment, and he's like, "Oh, it's at the temple. Fine, that's okay. Like, it's good that it's at the temple." And he calms down.
Okay. Great. All right. To the library. Are we doing the library?
So, on the way there, a rider comes for Lady Doxborn from Goldsway and Oust.
Hello.
Hello. And are you Lady Nikki Doxborn / Quebec?
At your service.
Here you are. Hands you a paper.
Have I just been served? I opened the paper.
You have been served.
Okay, great, cool, wonderful. What's this shit?
A quick read requests your presence in Goldsway, because there is a investigation upon the recent attacks that have happened in the Nub.
All right. That doesn't seem completely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where, like, you're not being arrested, but they, would like you to show up and explain what the hell happened. And why Goldsway was in danger. Like, and a small flotilla showed up.
Yeah, right.
And then a shellback showed up, and no one has explained to them what happened.
Oh, I mean, that is actually completely fair. I suppose nobody has talked to them.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
You know,
yeah.
even the harbor master, who was present for everything that happened, did not at any point explain to, the administration of Goldsway what happened?
He's the harbor master of the Channel and the small harbor at the temple, not Goldsway.
Alright.
Goldsway is not under the sway of the Quellbacks. It is its own town. Much like Oust. You are summoned, though, immediately. Or as soon as possible.
Okay. Well... On the one hand, I can, probably handle this. On the other hand, it would be awfully nice to have y'all there backing me up when I say things like, we're actually trying to protect you, that kind of thing. If you don't mind a bit of a detour. I can't imagine this will take too long, he says while staring the DM in the eyes.
I was going to say, breaks the fourth wall.
Stares up into the sky, shakes fist angrily.
Yeah.
I mean, Allie's wisdom is probably pretty high, so she'll probably be able to help with this.
Kiki grabs her closest approximation for a briefcase and puts on fake glasses, like she's going to be your legal representation.
Amazing.
She's trying to look respectable. You'll notice a few grenades and flash bombs. She puts them in the briefcase, so her idea of mounting an ejection might not exactly smooth things out, but she's ready in her own Kiki way.
Amazing.
So, you folks make your way down the channel on a boat with Kem, your harbor master, to the town of Goldsway. Goldsway is a decent size, it's probably at one point a fishing town, but has grown in size to be kind of it's the trade port to get up to Stormzyre. So it's grown, but it's not a huge metropolis by any means. It's run very similar to the rest of the Free Peaks, where it's what is the brand will always say about the groups? An autonomous collective, although there is a sort of very small government vibe to it. But there is basically a town council that decides on like town stuff, like zoning, because somebody has to make those decisions. So these are people that tend to. They are the ones you have been summoned to. But like much like the Quellback area, like there's some. It's more militia around here, with a couple of more permanent like prefects, like sheriffs. Really, there's not like a city guard to speak of that's going to like, in theory, stop you three from leaving if you wanted to. But then that will cause problems in Stormzyre, which has a more responsive force to show up.
Right.
Has Goldsway grown as a result of the temple being opened and more commerce happening there?
Slightly, but you're not a huge pool. Stormzyre, the capital of the Free Peaks, quote unquote, is still the main vein of trading. Okay. And it's... Allie, you know that in time, as Summit Vale gets larger, because it's really a diplomatic area, but as the Conclave grows, that will grow as well. Mm-hmm. And that will be a point of trade at some point, because you will need support and goods to support the diplomatic efforts happening there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. What time of day is it, roughly?
By the time you folks have gotten there, like, you pulled in early afternoon, we'll say, by the time it got through the locks and pulled into the port.
Okay.
Yeah, Goldsway's not that far by boat. Not that you had the dwarves dig you a channel. Like, you get there pretty quick.
Okay, good.
So you were ushered in before the council, which is roughly 10 people, with a sort of head that's there to, kind of act as like the speaker of the house. They're there, they don't really vote. They just sort of break ties. And there's a myriad of different folks there. You see some Arakoa, some half-orcs, full orcs, a goblin or two, as well as one or two humans and a tiefling that are just of various stages of socioeconomic status. Like, some of the humans look straight up like farmers and ranchers that have just put on their nice clothing to come deal with this. Some of them are very clearly a little bit better off, but there's no hugely rich people like you. These are not the trade lords of Ventos that you have seen, Nikki. These are the local leaders.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The head, though, is one of the Arakoa. A little bit of a smaller one, more falcony in appearance, and they welcome you, Lady Doxmore. Thank you for heeding the summons. We are just wondering if you can give an accounting of the recent attacks in the Nub. There was a sizable force coming up the straits, and although they did not come to Goldsway, there was a lot going on down there. A shellback was seen. We know there was an attack. It sheltered some of the farmers here. We heard about it, and then we heard nothing else.
Sure. So the Grand Conclave that has recently been reestablished, as I'm sure you're aware, for all of the good that it brings the land and the area and the region, all of the trade and the exposure and the tourism, it also unfortunately does bring the attention of, shall we say, more unsavory characters, those who wish to see friendship, not happening. So this was an attack from such forces, primarily targeted at the temple. We were able to stave them off. The shellback was was an allied force with the Conclave. Is that accurate?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That was in meta. Like I'm trying to remember because that you see like in universe that was like 2 weeks ago, right? But like
it was a couple of months. It was a month or two. So
maybe a month. Yeah.
Wondering where's the explanation of what the fuck happened.
Right. Yeah.
If you ask that in character, Allie would respond in character. Yes, that was the Wave Master offered to assist us with, seeing as we don't exactly have much of a naval force to make sure that they got that flotilla out of there.
Right, okay. I turned back to the council, bureaucrats, whatever.
Council.
The council.
There's not enough paperwork for bureaucracy quite yet.
Okay.
The libertarians up here, avoid the paperwork when possible.
Yeah, for real though. Okay, yeah, sorry. It was fairly chaotic and a lot has happened. It was a bit difficult to remember, but was allied with the harbor master as the sheer captain has pointed out.
The what? They ask.
They ask.
One of the things that we're doing is as part of the reunification of the nations at Friendship's Temple is we're creating multiple teams of individuals go out and help respond to a variety of disasters, whether that's a natural disaster and they need help with rebuilding afterwards, whether it's two groups of people disagreeing and they need some mediation involved, whether there's been a demon attack and there's, cleanup of a more religious sort required, or even if just there's an area where people are being raided by bandits or by, neighboring peoples, either seeing if we can broker a peace or make the aggressors stand down. We've only got 3 teams formed so far, but we're looking to continue forming more so we can help be a little more responsive.
And you've named this project Sheer.
Look, we're working for a sheep goddess. I'm only going to have so many opportunities in my life to make that level of a pun. And in my defense, it does actually stand for something that makes sense.
The reason I'm laughing is because this could both be in character and out of character with Kate.
It's the strategic and emergency allied response. It describes what the units do. Their job is allied responses to emergencies.
So about half the council is sort of just like, yeah, all right, like that's not the weirdest thing they've ever heard. And some of them are just rolling their eyes very hard at you of like, ugh, gods.
I'm more than happy to give more information about the structure of those units, if requested.
No, that'll be fine, says an older human woman. We do appreciate your efforts, and she smiles at you, but in that certain way.
That certain way. Huh?
And the Arakoa clears his throat. I guess birds have throats.
Birds have throats.
Yep. All right. So, Lady Duxmore, I know the champion is away. So, how do you plan on dealing with additional assaults?
Well, we are proactively going after those that perpetrated the previous one, seeking to bring them to justice.
Right, but as you said, as the temple grows, more will come to attack it.
Well, I think he starts damaging in our case unless
people will oppose it. We're not saying that people are automatically going to come and attack the temple itself. We're not saying they're not, but we're not saying with any kind of certainty that that's going to be what happens as the temple continues growing. We actually anticipate as the temple continues growing and as we continue to have, the reunification of that council, that there'd be more people and more nations and more allies in place to help us prevent that kind of thing.
And this, about 60% of the count at this point's like, all right, that sounds fair enough. given the context of, like, this is a temple to the sheep god that had been around since before the Peaks were the Peaks, so, like, sure. Although the other 40% are starting to get very skeptical of this, because they're like, okay, there's no sort of concrete plan here. It's just, we're gonna get more friends. And they're getting that vibe of, like, you're going to bring more outsiders here and more powerful, like, governmental entities to the Peaks.
No, this is... I suppose it's technically a non-governmental organization. The temple itself is for meetings, is for diplomatic conclaves, is for discussions and for planning, but it's not for governance. It's not for ruling over the Peaks. That's Lady Barrickson's from Storm's Eye, really. That's the only person I know of who's got kind of that kind of centralized authority here.
They all kind of look at each other, like, sort of, like...
Allie's saying ish.
Right, so the woman speaks up again, Allie, looking at you, going, so, these are the other governments of the world funding you?
They're helping.
So that's a yes.
Well, not all of them are directly providing funding. Some of them are providing people.
So they're still giving you resources?
Yes.
Then they will want something for their resources and for their investment.
Yes. They've been pretty upfront about it.
We've discussed that with them already.
Huh. Terms can change, though, she says, looking at you.
Well, yeah, as long as both parties agree and re-sign the contracts.
Mm-hmm. We're very versed in
Go on.
She says, we know about contracts and things like that. Make an insight check, folks.
Oh, yes.
She's being weird.
Hello. It's my thing.
That's a 20.
Nice. Non-natural. A 31.
Non-natural. A dirty 20.
Dirty 20. And a Kiki. 10.
Kiki's eating seeds, just so you know. She's a little bored by this meeting.
Crunch,
Like,
crunch.
She's like cracking like sunflower seeds in her beak, and like,
And
she's like, who are these people?
You know you have the perfect bomb in your bag somewhere, or you have the perfect bomb for this in your shop. You're like, did I pack it? Like, is it in the bag?
I should have brought the big gruff to show them. I'll show them defense.
Fucking spy should bring Big Gruff all the time. Robert, you have to Nikki. This is a woman that's trying to drill into what Allie and Nikki are saying, not out of necessarily maliciousness, but she's definitely experienced something which makes her very afraid of, like, more centralized powers. You, Allie, with a 31, the way she's talking, what she's hinting at, and her age...
She doesn't like contracts.
She's probably been in the Peaks when the Nazraki, the old folks that used to rule on Tara prior to your aunt, were around. She remembers those days of when the northern Teiflings of Dosharal came and conquered part of the lowlands of the Peaks, and the demons and the contracts that came with it, and they, the Nazraki would sort of do conscription.
I don't mean to assume anything, although I am going to assume some things. I don't mean to be presumptuous in the things I assume, but
you're going to be.
I'm at least telling you up front, trying to be direct about it. You're not familiar at all with my family or where I come from, I assume.
You're a tiefling.
Half. My mother is Radana Salvanor. My aunt is Visana Salvanor. You may or may not know her. She lives somewhere up here. God knows where at this point. And Tessa, Fran's champion, is niece to Neri, the prophetess of Allura. My whole family, as is hers, is quite familiar with the ways that contracts can be warped and manipulated, and how very much they reflect who's in charge when they're being made. when we say that we have contracts with other nations, we're not saying that, anyone is permanently bound. What we're saying is we've made agreements with other nations that we will support each other, that we will be allies, that we will, if someone is attacked, help defend them. Nobody is bound to contracts for life. All of them can be revisited and rediscussed, and really they're more about agreements between allied nations than they are about requiring individual citizens who are not party to those contracts to do anything. It does not conscript their members into service. It refers to specific subsets of their government who are participating in this voluntarily. If they decide they don't want to, that's a thing that can happen. They can withdraw. People can withdraw from this. The goal is to create more discussion and connection between nations, not to have any one of them gain more power over others as a result of this. That's what we continue to be particularly cautious about. And the upside of so many nations having responded initially and being interested in participating in some capacity is that it makes it that much harder for one nation to screw over everybody else. But no, we don't want to bind anybody to permanent decisions that they have no ability to participate in. We don't want to force anybody to act in ways that are against their conscience.
Make a persuasion check.
Not my specialty. Good thing I put some extra into this. Do I have a... Okay, I'm going to spend a point of inspiration to reroll that
critical fail. And that's a second critical fail.
I'm going to spend another point of inspiration. 24!
Okay.
Holy cannoli.
Good thing I saved up points of inspiration.
Yep. So, she looks at you, and it's a hard stare, Allie. That comes from probably a very rough life.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not looking down at you. She doesn't not believe you. But she clearly, again, from your passive insight, thinks you're just very, very young and naive. And she just sort of smiles and goes, similar words were once said. And friends are friends, allies are allies until they're not. And then she just remains quiet as you can see other members of the council.
I won't pretend that words aren't just words, which is why we will continue to back them with action.
It's not you that I worry about, dear.
Who worries you?
Others.
There's a lot of others. Can you be more specific? I don't mean to be rude. I'm really trying to understand who you're referring to.
God, I wish this was
Allie does not do cryptic bullshit. Say what you mean.
You've made a deal with the new Empress, haven't you? Of Lysana.
Have we?
Well,
I assume
we helped her get a very private and personal item back from some people who'd stolen
you had
it.
representatives from Lysana at the gala.
I assume that we,
Yeah.
So you say yes, and you see some of the council kind of looked shocked at that. And concern comes in their face.
None of this was hidden.
Yeah, no.
It's not like this
the
was...
gala.
Yeah, I'd be
Surely
surprised.
some of them were at the gala.
I'm surprised if there wasn't representation, but we did not necessarily say specifically.
Right, no. So what they would know is that, there were representatives there, people were showing up, because you're just kind of showing off the conclave, which is fine. But some of them on this council, when you talk about having ties to the old human empire, do not much care for that. There's not a big big dramatic. There's not a lot of dramaticism about it, but there's some
Yeah, no. The one who was involved when the Minotaurs went over to break up the old imperialist hold on it. That one, not the previous one.
So the one who's being kind of persnickety, is she human?
She is human. Old human woman.
Okay. Kiki wants to make a snarky remark about humans, but she holds back. She wants to be like humans, am I right? But she doesn't say it. She's a little over this woman questioning her friend this way.
And this isn't, again, they're not driving at Allie to, like, be mean. They're considering...
They're generally concerned.
They're generally concerned.
Yeah, no, Allie's responses are in kind. She does not feel, like, personally attacked by this.
So there's a little bit of chatter, a couple of side conversations before the Arakoa kind of bangs a rock on the table. It's like, you are in a very simple town hall situation. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "We are not here to discuss the conclave. We are here to discuss what transpired at the gala and the security of the Peaks and our particular portion of it." And they all, the clamoring kind of comes down. They go, "So, Lady Doxborn, if you would excuse us, the council must deliberate something, but we'll bring you back in a few moments if you would be so kind."
Sure.
And you are escorted out of this sort of small meeting room kind of outside the building. And there's no, there is sort of there's a guard at arms, but it's probably one of the prefects that's here today, and just kind of leads you out.
Yeah.
And, he, as you three are free to talk among yourselves, he just kind of checks in on the door every now and again.
All right.
I'm only going to use the rings to communicate, just to be safe.
Safe play.
Yeah. Scoot, am I getting any kind of vibe about what they're deliberating?
Probably the information that just transpired.
Right, but, like, do I think they're potentially deliberating, like, holding Nikki or me or any of us?
Good luck.
Yes.
Make insight check, please.
I don't know.
Spending another point of inspiration. Fuck it. Non-natural 20.
Wow. I guess Deb's still here. That's 3 1s tonight, Kate.
Thanks, Deb.
Three 1s in 4 rolls.
Yeah, it's good odds. You don't think they're not making a play to hold you. From, again, that Arakoa, the Falcon one, was trying to keep people on task of, like, we're not here to judge the conclave. We're here to basically see, like, was there negligence? To be something we're mad at from Lady Doxborn?
Do they need to ask for reparations from the estate or something?
Is there anything like that? Or is this just like, this was some shit that was out of her control? They in the past have been raided by pirates and merfolk and bandits, and certainly from from Antara of Doshnarral, and is this just, well, this is some shit that happens sometimes, or is the conclave a threat?
So Allie's gonna send to Nikki and Kiki. Do we potentially ask the wave tender if he'd be willing to help, or at least commit to not attacking Galsway, as basically a sign of good faith with the conclave?
Couldn't hurt.
It might.
So you guys would know, and Nikki, from being around, like, Tide's Breach, where the wave tender is from, has not attacked anything in a long time. But much like the surface world, underneath the waves, there's different groups. The merfolk, while people will claim they're a single imperium, that is not the case. Like, you in Ventos would know that as well. Like, there are different factions and like underwater countries, just as there are on the surface. So
that wouldn't functionally change much.
Yeah, Tide's Breach doesn't want to attack. They trade with these folks here. They have a pretty good setup.
Okay.
So Kiki through the rings will be like, nothing actually happened to Gullsway. She's going to be very clear. Like,
yeah,
this is all theoretical, so they can, like. She's now feeling like she wished she had brought more seed. She's actually feeling like she got low blood sugar a little bit, and she's like, I could be tinkering in my workshop, except for these asshats. So she's a little, like, just mildly irritated, but she's going to say, like, basically nothing happened to them. Right, and it's fine for them to want to understand security measures. She'll
a lot more would have happened to them if we hadn't been, like, building up the conclave this whole time. Like, it would have gotten found eventually.
Kiki will suggest again through the rings that probably not for this meeting necessarily, but if Nikki wants to invite representatives over to check out security measures, if they want to look at our list of allies who've pledged support, like I personally wouldn't single out the Wave Master per se. Like, if you want to have like a non-aggression pact, I would prefer, in the spirit of Fran, it'd be more like mutual alliances and stuff like that to defend the area and neutrality of it. All right, so Kiku just sort of put in those things, but she's just a little bit like, she knows that they're just trying to do right by their lands and their people, but she's a little bit like.
I mean, I really, really, truly, deeply get why some of them are scared of something new coming in, especially when there's contracts or agreements or other nations involved. That's not that far in the past for
I feel not all contracts. Like, in other words, I feel like if we didn't have contracts, they'd be criticizing that nothing was in writing and it was loosey-goosey. And if we do have contracts, then she's like, hey, the Teifling Nazis used those one time, like, and I'm like, oh my. So
did you know that the Nazis wrote books?
I know, right? Like, she's a little bit like.
I mean, yes, they probably would have criticized us either way, but I still get where that's coming from. And it's not just we want to criticize you no matter what.
So anyway, so Kiki will suggest to Nikki that like maybe there's like regular, she'll just make it like twice a year inspections if they want to come. Do you want to allow occasional unscheduled visits or something? Like, that's giving them a lot of power, but also feel like we have nothing
unscheduled visits.
I mean,
but I'm just
my understanding is that they have just as much right as any other signatory nation or signatory state to visit the conclave at any time.
It's true.
And I mean, Allie's gonna say I'm gonna hold off on asking them if anybody is interested in Project Cheer right now, because they get the feeling that right now that would be received like, let's conscript you into this project, less than it would be, would you like to join us in the spirit of cooperation and friendship?
And we have these brown shirts that you can all wear. Oh my god, yeah, so anyway. So Kiki is like, she's very happy with the way Allie that you're handling it, but she's just a little, this is not her.
Allie is also a little irritated, to be fair. She's not showing it. She will let you know that she's also a bit irritated by this.
She has a glamour of non-irritation on.
No, she got the monthly meditation of non-irritation on.
She's putting on a very studious, resting, calm face.
I mean, she's got 4 siblings, one of whom delights in pranking her, and the less she can give away gotten a rise, the better. So she's real practice at this resting, calm face.
Yeah.
And Braza will come at you until she's right.
Oh yeah, no. I know that Braza will absolutely come after me when she can.
So the deliberation...
She knows she offers them seeds while we wait. That's it.
The deliberation turns from what's supposed to be minutes to a couple of hours. To the point where the sergeant at arms like takes you to a bar and like lets you just like, he pays for food.
Nice.
So you're just not in the middle of the goddamn street on Gold's Way.
Nice.
And make sure that like you're as comfortable as you can be while the council does their thing. And it's an orc gentleman, and he just seems very exacerbated by this whole thing. He's just like, I'm so sorry. This was supposed to take 20 minutes, but
do you want to sit? We've been standing all day too.
My watch is done. The next guy's coming soon.
Offer stands.
Or sits, for that matter.
The offer to sit stands. Nice.
Yeah. Eventually, you do see a orcish woman show up, and she's his relief. And he basically says, "Go to the. I'll stay with you guys. Go to the town hall and wait for them to need these folks."
Allie, Nikki, Nikki, and Kiki. By the way, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm Ted.
Hi, Ted.
Hey.
Pleasure.
You from here originally, or are you transplants like us?
Well, I'm from further up in the mountains by Fire's Watch.
taking a look at
So to be
that.
honest,
Oh.
being part tiefling, I have not gone up in the mountains quite so much. It is cold enough down here as it is.
Nah, that's what kept a lot of the old northerners from the higher peaks is you guys are fucking babies when it comes to cold, he says.
You really
sort of
are.
laughing at
It's
you.
true.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of things, we are not fucking babies when it comes to heat.
No. That shit's hot down there. Once you get past the Wolfwood, fuck. Ugh.
Wait, you've been to the
Been down
Wolfwood?
there much?
Yeah, I mean, I've been, past Breakers Hall. I mean, the wolf folk used to be real fucking skittish about non-Folkland folks for decent reasons, but they've lightened up a lot since the Cat Queen took over, and he heard what you talked about, and he let that out, and he's like, I don't know if I should have said that.
I'm absolutely gonna tell her that's your nickname. She'll love it.
I
She'll
hope she
think it's
doesn't
hilarious,
kill
really.
me. He's kind of not like... He explains it like to them, Briseis is this like weird assassin of shadow, and she
Not
seems
wrong.
cool, but like that's also a terrifying concept to them.
Yeah, no fair. No,
You made it over to the nub, Ted?
A couple times. There's some good fishing down that way. I've taken a couple of times. I know the one troll gal that's over there.
Oh, Grund? Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, no, she's cool. We helped her, me and my boy helped her. She's in charge of bridges now, so
Yeah.
we've been helping her with that, kind of teaching her
Oh,
what the
Great.
tolls
I'm
are.
so excited about those bridges.
I didn't know you'd been around on the bridge cruise.
Yeah, we helped, did some day labor. I'm a builder by
Yeah.
trade.
Y'all been doing some nice work on those. You made it up to the hot springs?
No, we haven't gone that far from Goals Way.
Oh, you've absolutely got to set aside a little bit of time for a trip next time you're out that way.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of building
They
happening
are a
out there.
sight to behold.
It's dwarves, and small talk kind of keeps going. Eventually, that the female orc comes back, and it is like heading towards later evening. As Ted made sure you guys got some food, and you head back in, and the council is there. There's clearly food on the table as they have ordered out, and the Arakoa looks and goes, "My apologies."
Yes, ye oldie DoorDash.
Yeah. My apologies for the weight that Edoc's borne into your fellows, but...
No stress, Ted was a lovely host.
No, good. It smiles. Ted as much as a bird can smile.
We know what a bird smile looks like at this point. We've been hanging out with Kiki long enough.
Except Kiki's probably not smiling right now.
No, she's not.
So not smiling right now.
He goes, okay, well, we've found, after long deliberation, and he looks towards that human woman, we've found there's no fault of your own. There's no need for any continued conflict about this. We appreciate your honesty in what's going on at the Conclave and what's going on over in the Nub, and we hope to not have problems in the future, but we will certainly
you
be
and me
taking...
We will hope that.
Yeah, we will certainly be taking more steps in Goal's way to prepare for such things, as they will most likely be inevitable at some point.
Anytime you want to, pop over and check out our defenses or whatnot, you're welcome to. Just let us know ahead of time.
No, yeah, we just show up.
If you'd like to, we can put you in touch with the wave tender if you're looking for some, sea-based defense work. I'm sure he's got some ideas.
In time, perhaps.
Oh, and invite to the hot spring stands anytime. That's unrelated to the whole security side of things. They're just really nice hot springs, and you're more than welcome up there.
Thank you, he says, looking at, like, kind of... Thank you? Okay. But it is quite late. We do apologize for keeping you here and away from your other business, so please allow Goal's Way to provide you room and board for the evening.
Kiki audibly sighs like she's at the end of her tiny little Kenku rope. And, like, how far is Goal's Way? Like, she's just like, what the fuck is all this administrative bullshit? Like, so she just, like, audibly sighs, but then she looks to Nikki and Allie for cues, like, are we staying here the night? Like, it's probably too late to, like, head back or whatever, but she's a cranky bird.
So how long would it take us to get back from here, Scoot?
Oh, a couple of hours. Like, you left first thing in the morning and you got here, like, early afternoon. And sailing at night is not great.
Even with dark vision, not a great plan.
Yeah.
You know.
Not through, like, a channel. I mean, it's going to be okay, but it's better to not be messing with the locks. So, and they're willing to put you up.
Kiki suggests that Nikki send word back to the estate, like everything's okay, that we're...
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah,
I'll
like
shoot
message
a message
Phyllis.
off to Phyllis.
Yeah.
He held up on Administrivia in Goldsway. We'll be back tomorrow, probably.
The message is received and goes, "Oh, enjoy. I'm so sorry I missed it. I do love Administradia."
Allie will send
poor
something
Phyllis.
similar to Kem and Bendo.
Mm-hmm. Kim is in the docks on the boat. He goes, "All right, well, when you want to come back, let me know. We'll get everything ready."
Okay.
And, okay. So they put you up at what is the nicest inn around. It's certainly not the hot springs in the temple, but it is like zhuzhy and nice. And they say they're happy to give you each your own room, or you can have basically a suite at the top that would house all of you.
I'd put a vote in for the suite.
Yeah, I'd rather be able to, hang out with you two.
Okay, so they put you up there, and they do tell you that downstairs, where all the food and drinks are, and whatever the tab, whatever you run up, is on the council.
Ooh. Well, we won't go too excessive, but a little room service never hurt anybody. Cool. Any
Feeling Kiki's a little wary now. Like,
Yep.
Kiki's a little bit like, is Gullsway known to be like, they have so much administrative funds, like, in their town hall that they can just be like, stay in a nice suite, carte blanche, order room service. Like, she's gonna raise with the crew, like, are they, being too nice? Like, so maybe they are being apologetic, but also, like, I don't know, do
Her
birds have
feathers are
half-lives?
all
I don't think so.
unpuffed.
Her feathers are just like, she's
Nikki.
a little like...
They're a little ruffled.
Nikki, give me a history check to see what you know about the Administratum of Goldsway.
Righty, I'm good at those now.
Anyone else can as well, if they would like.
I will
30 from Nikki.
Dirty 30.
Okay.
Oh, no need.
I'm not bother trying.
So,
Yeah, it's not even...
as Kiki's words hit your ears, and you think, they're not... This isn't... You would definitely expect this in Storm's Ire if this happened. Even without your friend being there. They're big enough to deal with it. The place isn't. This is the equivalent of like a mid-tier Badger Den for Nikki. Like, this is not the Ritz. This is it's decent. It'll have good food. And from your knowledge of Goldsway and kind of what's happened today, you think this is the part of the council that is pro you folks, trying to apologize for basically more or less wasting your time for an entire day.
Okay. I'll relate that this would be par for the course in Storm's Ire. It's a little bit over the top, honestly, for Goldsway, but certainly not, like, out of spec.
I'd say we should probably not run up too much in extra costs, just because that seems like a good way to maybe win over some of the members of the council who aren't the biggest fans of us. Like, if we show that we're just...
Yeah. Maybe a nice, a small dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe actually go down to pick it up rather than pay the triple fee for room service.
Probably not a bad idea.
Kiki wants to check the suite for listening devices or any magical shenanigans.
Arcana
Probably a good
checks,
play
please.
anyways.
Huh?
Arcana checks, please.
Can I help?
Yeah, anyone can make an Arcana check they would like.
I'm helping with another crit fail.
Wow.
Dirty
20.
33?
Jim?
Nice.
Nikki, this
As
place...
opposed to those natural 33s that you usually roll on D20s.
D20s.
That's four
It's
crit
5.
fails.
5.
Yes.
Oh, well, for...
Holy shit!
Wow.
Allie, what the hell?
Nikki,
Allie doesn't know shit.
this house is clean. There's some, there's like magical like lights to kind of dim, But, like, beyond that, there's nothing in here that would make you worry about something listening to you. Like,
Now,
there's some, like,
trying to figure out what various things should we tie Bendo to in this room.
Yeah, there are some excellent hard points in that chandelier and other places up top.
That's what I was distracted by.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Bendo is also sending you pictures on your...
That's not helping.
No. So, Nikki, you put in an order, you head downstairs. But as you're in, like, the pub part, you see that there's a half-orc behind the bar that's, kind of talking. The place it's lively.
As bartenders are wont to do.
Yeah. And you come down as you see him look over. He sees a human, and you see him kind of narrow his eyes, and he goes, "Oh, fuck no." And he leaps over the bar, grabs this kind of smallish dude, and then puts him up against the wall. You see him speaking in Orcish for a second, and then he just drags this dude by the scruff out.
I don't suppose I speak Orcish, do I? Fucking nope.
Wait, only Nikki sees this?
Nikki's the one that went downstairs for food. Everyone else is in the room.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just turn to another patron and be like, what the shit was that?
I have no idea, but I mean, that's Fred. That's, he's usually pretty cool, so...
The bartender is Fred?
Yeah. No, I don't know who that guy is. Fuck, I don't know. But if he pissed off Fred, something happened.
Phew. I might go take a look, actually. And I kind of roll up the sleeves of my robe and make sure that I've got my my focus, like, ready to shake off, and I'll follow the direction that Fred and the small lad went.
Yeah, so you see him, again, it's
I'll
like a
take 3 steps.
human. Yep.
And then I'll slap chat. Hey, there was the bartender just fucking jumped some guy. I'm gonna go take a look at that. Y'all might want to come down.
Still carrying your food with you out.
Yes. I've got my casting focus in one hand. My sleeves are rolled up, and my other hand has a nice salad.
Yeah.
Allie will come down when you say that.
It has apples on it.
Kiki rushes down too.
Yep.
And
so are you going out by yourself, Nikki, or are you waiting for your friends?
I will go out by myself because I don't think it's going to take them very long to get downstairs.
Okay.
It's Allie.
And I love making bad decisions.
Yep. So you walk outside, and you get there right in time as Fred, this half-orc gentleman, just cold cocks this human, knocks him to the ground, and the human just scrambles and bolts off into the dark. And you see the half-orc spit towards him, and then turn and see you. And he's just like, "Oh, you with him? You fucking with him?" And he's all sorts of agitated.
I'll put I was going to say both hands, but one hand because the other one's still holding a salad.
Yeah.
No. What the fuck was that? I just came to see if you needed help.
Fucking Rex scum.
Rex? Is this
Rax.
a name that means anything?
No.
Does Allie hear it? Does Allie hear that?
Yeah, you come outside right to hear that happen.
Allie's immediate response is, "Where the fuck is he?"
I ran off that way.
There are a lot of them around here?
No, but there's fucking one. There's more. It's these sons of bitches.
Like
and
rats?
He's real. No. Rat folk are cool. These things.
Oh,
are
no, I'm
pieces of
saying like
shit.
rats, but there's one, there's more. Cockroaches? Cockroaches.
More cockroaches. Fucking spineless pieces of shit. I'm sorry. I'm Fred. I apologize to you folks had to see that, but you let one of them in, the first one's always cool, and then another one shows up, and then you soon have a fucking problem.
Kiki's like, "Let
I
who
like
in?"
this bar.
Mickey at your service.
You folks aren't... I mean, he looks at Allie, and he's like, "I don't want to assume, but are you from the South?"
Yeah.
Okay, he looks at the other two, he's like, how to put
Sorry,
this?
Nikki, Kiki, remember the whole Doshneral was subjugated by demons for a while thing?
Yes.
Do I remember the most impactful event that the continent has seen? Yes!
Yeah, anyway, his name was Nazarax, and he died. Well, they killed him. It was great.
I wasn't born yet. I don't know. But it sounded cool.
Look,
bedtime stories were fucking bitchin'.
Like Allie has not had Neri use the whole empathy memory thing to show her exactly what happened, because Lord, she would want to watch that. But there's still chucklefucks who worship him, think he's going to come back, want to carry out his ideologies even though he's gone, and they're called Raxes.
Yeah.
So
Kiki looks at Nikki. This a human thing? She's very confused. Or is it like a? She's like,
nah,
she looks at Allie.
Continent-sized politics thing.
Kiki's a Kenku who was not raised by Kenku. She was like, her mentor is like a gnome, so she's like, she doesn't understand all this like worshipful. Like, she's just very confused by things.
You by any chance related to somebody named Ted?
Yeah,
works as a guard.
It's my dad. Yeah.
He's great. He made sure we got lunch when we were talking to the council earlier today.
I'm so sorry. That means you were there forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've been so you're the son who was helping him with some of the bridge building.
Yeah. Well, you know a lot. He says kind of now like, there's 3 of you here, and he's like,
we were hanging out with Ted for like 4
your dad
hours.
talks a lot. We just wanted like the bridges are great. Thank you for helping with them.
Oh, listen. Let's get out of the street. Because it smells like shit out here, and he looks back down
maybe
the alley.
back to your bar might be important.
Yeah.
Also, you probably want to eat that salad, Nikki.
I really want to eat that salad, but I didn't bring a fork.
Once you folks come in, we'll get you a table and we can talk more. But I gotta get back inside.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
We walked back in, and like as we were walking, I turned to Allie. I was like, I was this fucking close to just getting my face in there like some kind of fucking rabbit.
You're all seated, and he gives you the food. Yeah. Yes.
Kiki's like, how can you tell a Rex? Like, she doesn't understand. Like, how did this guy know?
They have symbols, usually tattooed on them. And it's, for a long time, it was just Teiflings. But it seems like they're diversifying their shitbird pool. So
Kiki looks mildly like a shitbird. She like just raises an eyebrow, but she realizes there's lots of species of birds. So, Kiki will ask for either from Nikki or Allie or from Fred, like just to describe some of the symbols or tattoos, so she could just recognize them.
Yeah, he will give you a very detailed description along with probably Allie of what these things look like.
So Allie will draw them for you and storm them on the table as he describes them, and then immediately erase them because she does not want to leave those symbols sitting around at all, but she wants you to see what they look like so that you can recognize them.
There's people that look at you as you make that, and they get kind of, they don't have the context, and they're like, you're drawing a very bad symbol, and they're like,
So I'm like,
no,
I'm drawing it like
yeah.
directly in front of Kiki and nowhere else.
Yeah.
Like very small.
Yeah. Okay.
The next bar patron over leans over a little bit, furrows his eyebrows, and like very loudly and clearly I say like, and if you see that, you punch them.
Kiki writes this in her notebook.
And kicks them and then punch them some more.
Yeah.
She writes, see something?
Legal authorities, I guess.
I mean, first
see something? Punch something. She's like, got it.
There you go.
See something, shiv something?
Yeah.
So Fred's just like, first it's that fucking weirdo warforged, and now it's these assholes. Son of a bitch.
That fucking warforged get over here to Goldsway?
Well, Kiki does a minor illusion of the warforged that she tangled with during the assault of the attack. This one?
Yeah. No, he was... That's you know him? Them?
When? Bad news. Very bad. Bad news.
Okay.
Tried to kill Kiki. She's like...
Well, I mean, we like...
Part of attack on the state. And she's now in a tizzy. Like, her, like... She's on alert, and she's like...
No,
when's he?
he was, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago.
We're all from the Nub. We were at the conclave at the
one that got attacked. Yeah, he kept talking about a star child. No one knew what the fuck he was talking about.
I know what the fuck he's talking about. What was he saying about the star child?
Bullshit.
Something about if we had seen him, supposed to be a tiefling guy, wings made of stars. Kept calling him star child. I think something about...
He's a motherfucking star boy.
He is. I think there's some bad blood with him and the relatives of his or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Yeah, we'll let him know.
He's the champion's fiance. It's not going to go over well with her.
So Kiki will ask. Yeah. Kiki will ask for as many details as possible. Like, did the warforged head somewhere? Did they stay here? Like those kind of things. Just, I know it's days old, so the trail is probably cold. But
I mean, he got a room for a while. He came in real late one night.
Here?
Yeah,
stay here?
He did. Yeah.
Which room? I don't know.
Hang on.
Kiki's about to get all Scooby Gang on this unless you hold her back.
No, actually, though, I would love to go check this room out if it hasn't been rented out by someone else.
I mean, I think one person was in there, but it was just a corn trader or something. It's a very sparse room. It's honestly one of the smallest ones we have. Hang on. And he leaves, and he comes back with the guest log. Yeah, corner over, it's weird, it has 2 windows, corner room, kind of over by where we keep the pack animals.
Did the Warforged put a name in that guest book?
He put a bunch of 0s and 1s.
Kiki will examine it to see
if there's like that's gonna be Kiki.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Can Kiki translate that?
Make me an intelligence check, Kiki. Let's see if you can translate this binary.
I'm like, come on, Kiki powers activate. All right, I'm going to use the old school physical dice here. 21.
Number.
Okay. Let's see what the fate dice says. Okay. You get a word, and so the reading it out, like you're doing it in your mind a couple of times, and it just says Mecha. Mecha.
Are there more letters after that?
No, that's all it says.
All it says.
Are you sure that it's not 01000101 after Mecha?
No.
Okay.
Is it like signed? Is it like wow? Is it like signed in? Because Kiki will memorize what the signature looks like as well as
it is like perfectly printed. So it's not like in a script; it's just printed.
Right. All right, but Kiki memorizes it anyway and tells her friends what it translates to. Yeah. Can see room is okay.
I don't think anyone's in there. If you folks want to go take a look.
Yes, please.
Just in case he left anything behind.
He goes and he grabs, the keys, and he knocks. No one seems to be in there, so he opens it up, and it is
housekeeping. Yeah,
it is an incredibly sparse room that basically has like a couple of candles, access to a bathroom, like kind of in the hallway, and then like a cot. Like, this is the economy. I am here for one night, and I am immediately leaving because I have to get back on the road situation. Like, it's clean, as far as you can tell. Like, it's well kept. It's just, but the trade-off is there are these 2 big windows where you can see the approach from the street and kind of behind the building.
Yeah. Okay. I want to take a quick look around, check any drawers, check under the bed.
I would like everyone who would like to make an investigation check.
Yes, please.
22 for Nikki. 21.
21 for Kiki.
For Allie.
10 for Allie, because I continue to have Deb's luck.
Yep.
I do also. I want to look out the windows as well. Like, Allie's more interested in looking at the windows and seeing, like, did he pick this for the vantage point? Did he pick this for being able to see certain things?
Yeah, you know that, Allie, that like warforged don't sleep, but they will have to rest to repair and like let things set. So this is probably the best view he could have, certainly. Kiki and Nikki searching together. The room is cleaned very well. Like, Fred wasn't lying. But in one of the drawers, it's
like
stuck.
way in like the back corner. Like
no, like
kinda
the drawer
stuck.
itself is stuck.
Oh.
And like it's definitely not supposed to be. There's no lock. It's just sort of stuck.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'm gonna cast a mage hand and suggest to Kiki that she also pulls out hers, and have our mage hands go like in the drawer below it, and then like behind, you know, because like if something long like got wedged in there, sometimes you can get it out from the back.
Mm-hmm. Nothing. It's just the drawer is just
Feel around in there.
nothing. I mean, there's like some paper, some ink and quills, but like, you know, nothing weird. But the drawer is still just stuck shut.
Can I...
Jackie, you got to dispel magic? Or anything that would let you open a thing that appears to be locked magically?
Have a dispel magic.
Because Evan's definitely done the sticky door, sticky drawer prank before, and got real good at finding loose charms.
I don't have dispel magic at all, actually. Phyllis taught me.
Can we investigate the drawer specifically to see like?
Go ahead and roll
what's up with
investigation
it?
checks on those, folks. Okay. Because the first one's for sweep of the room. Hey, better, Allie.
15.
Robert.
Nice.
Robert,
I'm on fire. I took all of your numbers, Allie.
Yeah. So you're looking at the drawer, Nikki, and there is a weird type of like resin or something on one of the. As you look closer, like the left side's trying to come out, but the right side is stuck. And there's a weird like resin hardened something there.
I'm gonna take out just like one of my like. It's just like a simple dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly I just use it for like letter opening and like cutting gross bits off of meat or whatever.
You're gonna use your identifiers?
I could. I was just gonna get the tip of the dagger really hot and then poke the resin until it melted.
Alright. When we poke things that are kikis and they're hot, they sometimes explode. Maybe just figure out what it is before you poke it with hot things.
Fair. Do you think I can even get my fingers in there?
Well, you
Like,
could
is there
just
enough
scrape
of a
off some of
gap?
it with the dagger. Not hot.
Smart. I do that.
You start to cut away at the resin, and eventually it weakens to the point where you can get the drawer open. There is nothing inside the drawer besides the paper and quill that you felt before.
Okay. Let's check the paper for traps. I'm not just being stupid. I'm looking for a message of the flavor of "You sure are sad that I prepared explosive runes this morning." I'm like glancing like the bottom corner of each sheet and closing it.
Paper is a mimic.
I mean, also if there's resin on the side of the drawer, you can also touch it and figure out what it is.
The resin.
I can touch the resin, yeah, but it appears to just be resin. If I just cut it and it cracked open.
But
you should still identify it.
because it might give us.
I might as well identify the resin.
Thank you.
Is there anything interesting about the resin?
Oh, it's magic shit.
Oh.
This is a
Go on.
It's a special from your magic fingies. It's a special type of thing that's made to bind like metal together. You would have make a history check, folks.
Is this like warforged
Repair.
like, wound closure super glue basically?
More or less.
20,
once again.
11. Oh, another nat 1, 2 in a row for me.
What
for a
the
total of
hell?
12.
Allie has a brother who does
22
forged things. She's got some knowledge here.
Yeah, so between Allie's history and Kiki, like you've seen the dwarven engineer that you hang out with. Like he has small amounts of this to help like very delicate work when something snaps and breaks. And it sort of it's an adhesive that it's sort of like glue except it heats to weld very delicate things back together. And again, it's never as strong as when it originally was, but it keeps it from having to
Auto solder.
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, well I will scrape as much of this off as I can and just like put it in a little vial or something.
Mm-hmm. You do, and you
Take
get a good bit of it, yeah.
We'll take it back to the engineer, or just give it to Kiki. Here you go. Here, Kiki. Enjoy.
So Kiki will wonder out loud whether this is a byproduct of something, like, putting first aid, the equivalent of putting first aid materials in a drawer, right? Or is it like meant to keep someone out of the drawer? Because why would you do that when it's a room that could be rented and stuff? So she's still feeling a little like maybe someone was supposed to come later or something.
With the 17 Arcana, is there anything interesting on the papers?
It's just paper, blank ass paper.
Blank?
Yeah.
Can I see if there are any secret messages on the paper?
It is literally blank paper.
Invisible ink.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
It's straight up paper.
Anything interesting about the quill?
I'm gonna go ahead and identify both the paper and the quill. Make sure that there's nothing magical or enchanted or anything.
It's paper.
Oh,
just regular
wow.
paper, and the quill is an Arakoa feather, which is you don't see that too often, but
it's nice. Yeah,
yeah,
expensive. Okay, look, I'm just saying this is some fucking spy shit. All right, like, wouldn't that be so cool? Like, you get like a sheaf of blank paper and an enchanted quill that writes the message when you like bring it out. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
But not the case. Okay, well, I guess I'll. Is Fred still with us?
Yeah, he's just standing there watching you guys do all this, and he's taking a couple steps back, to make sure.
Fair. Yeah.
He's like outside the room.
That room.
Fred, is the paper and quill come with the room?
Yeah, they all have some in it.
Okay.
Allie's going to look out the window
it's
again.
A nice place,
I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to see not just is it a nice view, but like is there something in particular that it overlooks that he might be like trying to keep an eye on that he thinks that the warforged is interesting. What's that?
Make a perception check for me, please.
29.
Oh, there
it
we
has
go.
almost a direct line of sight, because again, it's still in the town, so it's a little lower. But the Star Hill that Thrax used to take you to see his mom is in clear view of this room.
Nice.
That's useful.
And when did that happen? Just to align timelines, when did we do that, and when did the Warforged stay here?
That was months ago when you went to go see Mom. He was here about 5 days ago for 1 day.
In terms of timeline alignment, was there anything interesting that we were doing 5 days ago?
You were in Dath.
Okay, right, okay. Sucks to fucking be him.
But also remember all the fuckery that happened to us in Dath, and
oh, for sure.
Just Kiki's just.
Do I remember?
Yes, you do.
I am the fuckery in Dath.
I mean, do we feel that we got the real full answer about what we thought all that stuff was happening to us? I mean, I know we took care of the floating head of nastiness, but
we just know it's something from Valhita that doesn't want us to succeed when we think it's just another part of that as of right now.
My God, Kiki
but
once...
floating head of nastiness was not part of the original group that attacked us, which, Valhita is deploying resources. But
yeah,
I kind of want to check out that hill.
Yeah, okay. Kiki's down.
Go stop by, yeah. Doesn't hurt. Plus, it's
Oh,
really pretty if nothing else.
Hurt. It could hurt. Don't think
Okay,
it might
yeah,
help.
true.
You folks had
Kiki's writing. Yeah, she's writing all this down in her notebook, and she can't wait to get back to her murder board in her in her shack, because she's got all this like Star Hill, Star Child, in Valhita. Like, she's got all these like threads going every which way. People can't hear me gesturing.
Big swirl.
Okay, we head to the hill.
You head to the hill. There investigation or perception checks, folks.
I should point out while we're making these rolls that I genuinely have no dirty 30. Genuinely have no idea how the fuckery in Dath pertains to the Valhita stuff, like in the broad picture.
If it does.
If it does, yeah. Even though I ran some of that fuckery, I don't know how it ties into the bigger picture. I was just,
Just
Fit it
following
in the
orders.
parameters that I had, more or less.
Just
yeah.
following what. Mm-hmm.
So it is Nikki that finds, as you're looking around, you're scouting the area, so you head to the tree line, Nikki, on a hunch, and there is a lookout nest up in the trees that is similar to what you did back in Ventos as a child. You know, the lookout would be high and well camouflaged. So you find
A little bit of a like deer hide kind of vibe.
Yeah, stuff has been removed, but there are holes in the tree where he probably reinforced something to bear his weight, as he might be a little bit heavier than you were as a small child.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Yeah.
I'll call everyone over.
Can we set a trap up there?
We could.
We could. Kiki's mostly worried about trying to get a word to Thrax and Tessa. Like, how did they get where they were going? How did they travel there?
Heartway.
Okay.
Like they're down in On Shin with probably Tessa's aunt and uncle.
Yeah, like they're pretty darn safe down there. Like they are really safe.
No, that's not that. Kiki's worried about them, like, transporting back and stuff. Not through a Heartway in our temple as much, but she just wants them to, like someone's actively hunting Thrax and knows about this hill, which we've only learned about one time. Like, how the fuck? Right? So she's just like,
when Kiki says we've only learned about this hill one time, Allie looks kind of shifty.
what do you mean?
Allie does not elaborate.
Oh, so Kiki's a little bit like, that would probably completely go over her head. She wonders whether they think like Thrax travels this way, because we did travel that one time, right? So is it that they're waiting for us to pop out? If Thrax specifically, so she's just a little concerned about us traveling in general, or any like, again, a Heartway in our own temple and stuff. Less so, but she really, really, really wants to get word to Thrax and Tessa, not to like ruin their encounter.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
Right.
Just I want to have up here though. I don't
reckon? Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Do you reckon we could send a message to Tessa's aunt? Let them know. Let them do the worrying.
That might not be a bad idea, actually.
Not bad.
Yeah. I'll shoot a sending to. Is she with Neri?
Mm-hmm.
It's mainly so that they can make an informed choice before they come. You know what I mean? Like, come back.
Yeah.
I don't worry there. Like,
yeah,
it's a great idea.
I'll shoot a sending to Neri, and I'll say. I have to think about it a little bit because I only have 25 words. Hey, it's Nikki. Someone's hunting Thrax. No immediate danger. Keep eyes out. Stay safe.
Sus Warforged.
It's
we can mention that the Warforged is monitoring the hill.
Nasty Warforged watching Star Hill.
You still have 6 words if you want them.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I thought that was down to 1.
No.
Okay.
How's the weather? No, just kidding.
Please send baked goods. Thanks.
Thanks for doshnesses.
Oh, you could pass on the Warforged name Mecca if you want.
Thanks for doshnesses. I got 3 words left. Oh, named Mecca.
Yeah.
Thanks for Doshnesses
Warforged named Mecca would work better, probably. Otherwise, I think the Doshnesses are named Mecca.
So there's a moment as that sends, and you get a response, Nikki, but it's her uncle.
I didn't know that's how that spell worked, but okay.
It's not.
The ways of Neri are mysterious.
She's an empath that is intrinsically connected to her mate, so... Yeah. They literally know each other's minds.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I didn't think that worked that way. But, like, sure, I guess.
And just there's a simple sentence of "they will be protected," and if you could see the message, "will" is in caps and italicized, bold, and underlined.
I can feel it. Yeah.
Good. So
Good. I relay that obviously. I feel pretty good about that, honestly.
I don't want to let them know that we know about this. I'd rather trap and ambush him.
Should we wait until, like...
Well, I mean, he's not here right now. We could lay the trap now.
Right, but then we have to keep watch on the hill until he does come back.
Not if it's the kind of trap that gives you some kind of, I don't know, arcane message signal thing. You're the magic one. Look, I can do a great rope trap, but I...
Okay.
Allie pokes Nikki, do magic, wizard. Do magic.
If we come back tomorrow... Oh, alarm's a ritual. Okay, sick. Yeah, I could set an alarm here. So it would go off with detect magic, and the warforged... I think he had extraordinarily keen vision, and I wouldn't be surprised if some sort of true sight or just being able to cast detect magic was part of that. So a mundane trap might actually do better?
It depends whether the Warforged thinks that we've been on
if he has any reason to suspect it, yeah.
Their trail. Kiki, of course, is like, why not both? Because she's like all the things. But your point about it potentially being detected, but if they have really keen vision, it also might be seeing things. In general, we're not sure.
Right. Also, alarm. Like I could basically set a tripwire that rings in my head.
I mean,
but
Kiki
it only
could
lasts for 8 hours before it falls apart.
Yeah, Kiki could make a mechanical trap something. It wouldn't do like a lot of damage or so. She'd have to figure out what to do. She could make something that made a lot of noise or honestly exploded or something like that. Like she could put a pressure plate or something under, since it has this reinforcement, right? Because of the Warforge's weight.
True.
She could put something underneath that would go off. I mean, damaging it might just be fun for the sake of damaging it.
Yeah, I know. I'm more concerned with trapping him so that we can come and deal with him.
Just decide.
I think we should put the trap up, but I'd also like to... We should figure out what's going on with the Raxes up here, because if he's connected to the Raxes in some way, I don't like that in a lot of ways at all.
I mean, if I had to pick an organization for Valhita to get its sticky fingers in, it'd be the Raxes.
Kiki makes a note.
Even bring him back.
Kiki makes a note for her murder board to add the Raxes to it.
There's only one remaining piece of his body, and my Aunt Briseis wields it as a sword.
I have
after
an
having
idea.
purified it. Everything else about him was like burned by divine fire, so it's not even as though he can come back.
Yes.
So what are we doing with the trap situation, folks? Are we doing it? Are we laying one?
I have an idea there. So, how high up is his hide?
Oh, good. Probably 20 feet up in the air.
Ooh.
Could we dig a pit under it and have Kiki set some sort of explosive to drop the floor out?
Under the tree.
Wait, sorry. You want an explosive in the pit, or you want to? I see.
Explosive to drop them into the pit.
Drop him out of the hide into a pit.
Okay. Oh Lord. Do you have like move earth or something? Because otherwise we'd be shoveling like.
I have gravity sinkhole.
And you could fill it up because there's a lot that could be seen, right? Like We have to. We're not rangers. I'm just saying, we have to play. Okay. Are you trying to capture them? Okay, so are we going to do magical or non-magical? Can we decide?
I think non-magical is the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Magical only lasts for 8 hours.
So Kiki has her rope bomb thing. She could set it under the weighted thing, and then maybe fucking tie some. I don't know how to signal to us back, without magic, in a way. She could make it make noise. She could put literally bells and literally whistles on it, but it's just it would clatter and shit like that.
Well, but then that means we need to keep some amount of an eye on it, and I think Kiki.
Yes.
How do you communicate with Pinion?
She gestures from her head to Pinions, because it's both verbal, but also, well, actually, it's verbal. It is verbal command. Yeah.
Oh,
and it's not that far. I don't think the range is back where we live.
I have fabricate.
What does that do?
So I convert raw materials into products of the same material. For example, you can fabricate a wooden bridge from a clump of trees, a rope from a patch of hemp, and clothes from flax or wool. Choose raw materials that you can see within range. I can fabricate a large or smaller object contained within a 10-foot cube. This is a bit of a stretch, so feel free to tell me no, that's not how the magic works. Can I make a beautiful statue of a 10-foot cube using the raw material of the 10-foot cube where I want the pit to be?
So you want to use the dirt to make a dirt statue to mine out a 10-foot cube of dirt?
Yes.
In theory, you can do that.
Because I don't have actual mover.
Yeah. I guess you could do that with fabricate.
Does anybody have a better idea for a thing that I could make with a 10-foot cube of dirt?
Okay, this...
And bits of stone, probably.
Does it have to fill a 10-foot cube?
No. It just can't be bigger than that.
Okay, so mine out that much material, but just make a covering for the pit of dirt.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
they thought it.
I don't know about the dirt, but I could pull the stone out of that area and use that to make a very thin slate sheet, basically.
So he drops on it, he falls through.
Right.
Okay, so we need then the explosion up top, and then we need the fabricate, hole at the bottom.
So, Kiki points out that the warforged would probably step on the pit to get up in the tree, most likely.
Well, either he falls in the pit then, or he falls in the pit after, and either way is good, really.
Do you think a high-level warforged is going to be taken out by a 10-foot pit? I'm just gonna, throw it out there.
Kiki's got, look, metal is this resilient and takes fall damage, and, this is drawing shit in the air.
Even her rope bomb would be essentially grappled, and by the time we would get here, unless you've got some, teleport shenanigans, Nikki...
No, that's a good point.
Unless you want to hire someone to keep a watch, it's just very complicated.
We
don't know that it's...
Everyone make me an insight check, please.
That is a really good point, but I was having fun.
I know.
How dare you? I want to use fabricate to mine the dirt out.
5.
I want to make a cube.
Nikki and Kiki are still discussing this cube and trap and weight pressure place where Allie goes.
Kiki's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, I know, but it's fun.
No, this can work. No, it literally can't.
How dare you have fun during D&D?
Okay, but it'll fail fantastically.
Allie, it dawns on you, you don't even know where he is.
Mm-hmm.
And you think Kiki's point of, unless
you don't even know if he's going to come back.
Right, you don't know if he's going to come back. You don't know where he is. But it dawns on you that based on a new skill that Nikki has gained, you can answer that question of where he is.
Yeah.
Hey, Nikki. Maybe.
No, Kiki, look. What if I make it half as a... Yes, Allie?
Okay. test that out once we're home.
I feel
Also,
like-
Elzoff would probably love it if you tested it out trying to turn it into an ice statue afterwards.
A dirt ice
and-
statue.
Nikki squints and looks thoughtful.
More importantly, we don't know where he is. He's gone. He hasn't been here for a while, judging by all the marks around here. So maybe you use that shiny new snow globe of yours to figure out where he is currently.
Yep.
It's new. It's still new. You're still
A
getting
much
used to
better
it.
plan. All right. At this point, is it like fucking late, or is this tomorrow?
Oh no, it's quite late. It's probably
Okay.
like I'm going to say that argument with you and Kiki took a while as you're like
Fair.
way back and forth. It's heading towards midnight probably.
Ellie has
we
seen
both have a very-
Evan and Breeza have similar arguments that do not come to an end, so she was like,
Yeah.
we got to stop.
Could we cut this one off? Also, I feel like Allie, or Nikki and Kiki have both had we've had a long day, so we're both like just on still the right side of grouchy, but enough that we're like, no, you don't understand.
If you would ever say that phrase to Kiki, that's
Children,
those fighting
children.
words.
Like Allie, as you're like kind of looking back and forth at all these things, you look back and your two nerds have drawn complex equations in the dirt. And like Nikki is casting the fabricate spell and trying to prove something, and Kiki's like, no, that's not. And they're just it's a fucking mess of math.
Yeah. Allie snaps us back to reality.
It's a dirt off.
He comes
stopped
back and
casting
wonders
gravity.
who's drawing complex equations underneath his watch post, so Ellie starts like crossing them all out with her foot and scuffing it all out. Nikki, use the fucking snow globe.
Yeah, I mean it's at the estate, but yes, tomorrow morning.
Okay. Let's head back then, and
It's on a big fucking pedestal.
We'll head back to the inn. We'll get some rest. You are punchy as shit.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, maybe before we leave, we could look into that Nazrax asshole a little bit more.
Yeah, we should probably ask
As
him a little bit.
And then yes, let's head back and get you scrying and
You head back.
Cheeky, you're right. It should have been cubed.
Kiki just rolls her eyes. She's actually had more food today, probably than usual. So she's probably sleepy from all the eating.
When we get back to the estate, you can see who can make a 10-foot hole faster, Kiki with the bomb or Nikki with the fabricate, but not until we're on the land that Nikki owns.
Kiki's actually very.
It does sound pretty fun, actually.
Again, Allie has experience with distracting siblings who do this shit.
You folks head back to Goalsway. You sleep the night, and the next morning they take you back to the estate, where
Yay.
Go ahead.
Can we? I wanted to see if we could find anything more about the Rax's presence in Goldway.
Investigation checks, please.
Investigation check.
11.
17.
24.
Between Nikki and Kiki, Kiki's a very good. Kiki pulls out her Sherlock Holmes hat and magnifying glass and begins doing some investigation. And from what the local townsfolk are telling you, they're not really in Galsway because as soon as one shows up, somebody ends up beating the shit out of them pretty quickly. And a lot of people say no, they're lucky that Fred got to them because they'll point you. They will tell you that some of the more insistent ones, or the ones that feel a little bit more ornery, end up dead. And no one in the town gives a shit about it. But they tell you that there's probably a hideout somewhere around Vallas Nest in the mountains, maybe. That's probably where they're gathering. But, fuck them. They can stay out there. That's kind of Vallas Nest's deal. And they're also, again, Vallas Nest feels the same way that Galsway does. Not fucking happy about it. But they just haven't had the time to, go find these assholes and beat the shit out of them properly.
Sure.
So is that sufficient, Allie, or does anyone have any more questions?
That's enough. I can live with that.
Okay. You head back to the estate. Nikki, you get your beautiful scrying
Plot hook
aura.
acquired.
Yep.
Yes, I do. And I will. Is it actually attached to the pretty pedestal that it
You
stands
can
on?
pull it off it if you'd like.
So I go to like scoot it out of the corner and I pull it by the ball because I've thought that it was attached this whole time, and I just lift it up and I quietly put it down and hope that nobody noticed that I'm stupid.
I noticed.
Yeah. Hold on. Were you trying? That was a 12 for my perception. Do I notice? You notice?
Probably not.
Okay. I try to put it back, quietly. Okay, so scry time. You can see and hear, excuse me, a particular creature you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you. Target must make a DC 19 Wisdom saving throw, which is modified by how well you know the target and the sort of physical connection you have to it. So,
you got some resin.
Yes, resin.
Yes, I do.
And you have the name.
Okay, so second hand, you have heard of the target. First hand, you have met the target, and familiar as you know the target well. He did try to kill me. I had a big fight, but I would probably say only first hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or second hand.
And I've heard of the target. No, I've met him.
You met him, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So you
and then I have a body part, lock of hair, bit of nail, or the like. Does this resin count?
will count as that, yeah.
That? Okay. So he has a -10 to his roll.
Okay. You invoke the orb. And you see that there's something blocking you for a moment. And then the rest of you notice, as Nikki is very focused on this magic, that the base lights up and the orb goes from cloudy and kind of staticky to clear. And you see the warforged moving downhill. Go ahead.
I should note at this juncture, on a failed save, the spell creates an invisible sensor within 10 feet of the target. I can see and hear through the sensor as if I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Sensor moves with the target, remaining within 10 feet of it for the duration, and this is the potentially important part, depending on the warforged abilities. A creature that can see invisible objects sees the sensor as a luminous orb about the size of a fist.
Okay. Let's see if the warforged sees. Yep. Okay. So you see the as it comes into being.
Little will-o'-the-wisp.
You see it. And the warforged is, as you look around, Nikki, you see that in the distance is Vallas' nest, or what you have seen Vallas' nest on a map. The warforged stops, turns, stares at the orb, because they can see the mode of light.
Mm-hmm.
Nods at you. How long does the spell last?
Up to 10 minutes.
Okay. They move off the road into kind of like a little sideway, a little side area, and they, as the orb follows them, and they just stare at you.
Waiting for it to run out.
Yeah, waiting for it to run out.
I'll spend all 10 minutes just in case he does anything interesting.
No, they just stand there like a silent sentinel staring at the orb.
Do you while you've got 10 minutes to stare at him, do you notice anything about kind of what he's carrying, how his state of repair looks, if he's got any like packs with him?
Took the words right out of my mouth, but in a slightly different order.
And only Nikki can do this, right?
Nikki's
only Nikki
the one
can
seeing this.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, nobody else can, like, it doesn't, like, it's not a picture in the orb, like, I see through it.
I see.
Annoyingly.
So, Nikki, you see...
Thank you, Scoot.
Yeah, I hear you.
Love you too.
They're wearing a big poncho covering most of their body, but you see that big Giselle gun slung on their back, along with another of the mid-range rifle that you tangled with is also slung on their back. But that's, besides their face and a cloak, and the little bits of the, warforged limbs and such that you can see around the cloak, they are just, that's all you can make out from what they're wearing.
Okay. I'm relaying all this like in like a sort of like stream of consciousness mumble as I'm looking around.
And they
like...
have all the guns are in basically cases to protect them from the weather, but you remember fighting them, you remember how big that Giselle was, you remember the other gun size, so you're like, that's probably that. But they just wait for the spell to run out.
Okay. Any any disrepair, any damage that I can see?
Not that you can see. They're very cloaked.
Okay.
You will probably get annoyed. Kiki will try to ask her as much detail about the guns as you can, like down to the wood used on the handle.
It's in a case. It's still in a case. I can see the case of the gun. The gun is in a case. Okay, so from that brief glimpse that I got right when I showed up, I recognize Vallas's nest.
Yeah, Vallas Nest, which is a primarily Arakoa settlement up in the northern mountains from Gull's Way, the northeast.
Okay.
Right, and the Rex people were more up north, supposedly. Was that the connection?
In that same rough area, yeah.
Headed right around towards Vallas Nest, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm hearing is we get to kill a bunch of Naxes and a warforged with maybe not one stone, but at least at the same time.
Possibly. Okay, the spell ends. Fades out.
But right before it ends, like the Warforged is timing it, and you see them pull out one of their smaller pistols, point it at the orb, and then shoot you. Like let the bullet rip at the orb, knowing it can't hurt you, but just to send a message to you. And then you see them turn and continue on their way as the spell fizzles out.
The message is, I don't mind losing ammo.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is, a certain intimidation all of its own. That, he's well stocked enough or crazy enough that he just doesn't give a shit about wasting ammunition.
Yep.
Okay.
And on that note is where we will leave tonight. So thank you all for coming to Ryan, and we will deal with this situation next week. Have a good night, y'all.